today is Monday, January 5th, and I just got back just a couple of days ago from the New Jersey trip, and my training and my sleeping pattern is all out of whack. So it's like, if things happen, you just got to readjust to hit your workouts accordingly too. As long as you get them in and you get back in the rhythm of things, that's what the key, especially if you want to make gains and growth, because it's about consistency. But it is going to be legs, and I'm going to go through about X amount of how many exercises, and I don't know exactly how many I might show you, probably just 4. It's going to be, I'm going to dominate my quads, because those are my strength factors, and then another day I do rehab for like my hamstrings and inner and outer thighs and so forth. But I'll add some inner and outer thighs as well to certain days of my workouts and stuff like that. But anyway, today's going to be mostly quad. So I'm going to warm up with leg extensions and kind of take you through steps by step. My training's different than other people because I look at legs as more of a rehab situation, which I push to the max, but I can't do it to a certain extent like everybody else can, but I do the best of my ability. So if I don't go down to perfect form, I don't really care. You guys don't understand all of the process, and some of you guys that follow me, you understand where I'm coming from. So it's easy to judge and criticize, but until you actually live it, it's a whole nother, there's another ballgame. So don't judge the book by its cover, because once you read the book, it goes much more in depth. So with that being said, it's on. This is my first exercise, so I'm gonna warm up like 2-3 sets, and I just go medium weight. And when I extend this machine, if it gets too heavy, I mean, this could be a full extension depending on how much your butt gets on here. So you kind of hold down, trying to keep it up. But sometimes you slide, depending on where you slide. This is like a full extension. So if people slide too far forward, that's actually a full extension. So it really depends on how far your butt gets back to the machine. So a lot of people want to see the leg kick out straight because that's what people believe, but it's reality. It's just what it tries to. You got to understand that movement. So with this is kick out, go back and forth, and a lot of people, it's like, see the weight, and it's like, do you actually touch the weight and so forth? The key here is like, if you kick it out, and as soon as you touch the weight, it actually takes the pressure off the muscle. So a little tip with anything, whenever you do this, you try to always stop before it touches. That way, the quad or the muscle that you're working is constantly in contraction. And if you just touch it a slight, like that, or like that, that's all right too, depending on your goals. I don't know how many reps it is. For my first working set, I got 150 pounds on here, and it's like, well, people see me in the wheelchair, they're like, well, why are you in the wheelchair when you can train legs? And it's not so simple, because I broke my back and damaged my spine. The doctors diagnosed me as paraplegic, and they told me I would never walk again. And after many years of rehab, I've been in the wheelchair for 16 years, I got sensation back. As you can see right here, it's like I wear braces, and I'm like the wheelchair RoboCop. I can't feel nothing from the knees down. I got my quads, so I kick out. The outside's weak, the inside's weak, and the hamstrings are weak. But my quads are dominant, and those are fully functional. I wear the braces to help keep me stable when I put my feet down. So a lot of people see like I look like I don't belong in a wheelchair because I got the braces. If you see, like, I'll show you after a while about like how I take steps, because my feet's at a 90 degrees angle because of my braces. So I don't move my feet at all, even if it looks like it. So I just wear braces and my feet's always at a 90. But, so when you see this kick out, it's because I got my quads. So that's what I focus on, and that's what came back. Because with the spinal cord, I'm not going to go in depth with how the handicap terminology and all the wheelchair world, and my people, because I lived it. So all the lingo with that fusion, the T12L1, the vertebrae, and all that stuff. It takes lifelong to understand everything and the complexity of it. Anyway, didn't mean to go in depth with the whole philosophy of wheelchair anatomy and stuff like that. But with that, I'm just gonna kick it out. See, as I'm sitting down, I'm trying to extend it as much as I can. Ah. I'm trying to hold myself down because I'm just like this. And this like all of a sudden, I'm like Superman. So I hold this down, try to kick it out. That's how I do it. All right, I'm gonna do about 3, 4, 5, so many sets because I'm very limited on what I can do. So the things I do, I do a lot more. That's a lot of do in one sentence, but I do what I can. It's just do the do, right? Just about do. All right, moving on. I got it up to 250 now. This is my 5th set, so I just kept going up and up and up, and I was doing it at 210, 190 for the majority of the sets. So I'm gonna bump it up and just try to get as many reps as I can, up to 12, then I'll move to leg press. All right. Oh, got pop. Sometimes just push yourself, and a lot of people are so particular about form, but I'll tell you what, try to go heavier yourself, and a lot of people that criticize the form, you're going to learn that when you push your body to the limit, it's not really natural, so you're not going to have perfect form unless you go super lightweight, then good for you. But if you're like trying to push yourself to the limit, you're going to realize that there's different variables, and you can't get gains from crappy form. It's just a perspective. And also, I understand people do research and statistics, but there's difference between scientists and those who study it versus actually doing it. There's a big difference. And a lot of people doesn't really think it is. But if you're a parent or you're studying, there's a difference between, just taking action, versus just talking about it and stuff like that. And you just find your happy medium. So just make it work for you. I'm gonna show you guys something heavier, but I was just talking about right here. When I put my hands here to catch my knee because I don't have the best stability. And I just make this work for me. And if I get stuck, I can't start it and just give myself a push it up. This is rehab 101. How many I did there, but I'm gonna slowly work up a bunch of sets and stuff like that. I always start this with 3 plates to warm up from this angle because again, it's not something super simple for me. But I just get my legs in place and I push. This is my 8th set. I did 2 sets with 3 plates, 2 sets with 4 plates, 2 sets with 5 plates. Now it's 2 plates with 2 sets with 6 plates. So this is like 730 pounds or something like that. So I can go heavier, but this is good for tonight. I'm getting wild. And I gotta make sure my feet are angled a certain way. Since I can't feel my feet, I have to plan them just enough. And with the braces, my toes have to go over the edge a little bit. So for those who already look at my form like, you're not doing right, well, or you're in the wheelchair, there's a lot of variables when it comes to the stuff to be able to even do this kind of thing. All right. Now I'm in another leg extension. But you're like, well, didn't you just do leg extension? You're right. But this time I'm going to do 1 leg at a time. But this leg extension is different from that one. And again, this is where you got to understand different machines. Like the other one's sitting more upright. If you notice, I'm sitting down, but the butt's lower. So when I'm kicking at, it's kicking up higher. than when the other one, when it was more like lower, like this. It was like that. This sits up, so it puts different emphasis in the quads, believe it or not. So whenever I do this, like this. So that's, see how it's like, if you compare to the other one, this is more higher. So I'm just going to take that one at a time. I've got 50 pounds to concentrate on each one. It's fried after the leg extensions too. I mean, leg press. So I'm going to do about 4, maybe 5 with that, and I may go up weight just depending on how I'm feeling at this current moment. The key is just keep pushing yourself either with more weight or less reps, but I try to go no less than 8 reps. And if I go for reps, I'll maybe do 15 up to 20. Legs are different because they respond differently to higher reps for some reason. You wouldn't think it, but it's true. It's like some of the famous bodybuilders and those known for like building legs, like Tom Platz. He had huge quads and stuff like that. So you really gotta play around with your workouts and everything like that. So this is my 3rd exercise, and I lost count. I think I did 4 or 5 leg extensions, and then 8 leg presses. So whatever that is, 12, 13. I'm going to do 4 or 5 here, and then that's going to eat it about 17 sets. So then I'll do one more thing. So that gives you an idea. This is my 5th set. Went from 50 up to 60. I'm exhausted. And again, it's not about weight, it's about pushing your body to the limits, and that's what I'm feeling today. Depending on what time you work out and your schedule and everything, it plays all different factors. Because if you're sick, you're not going to lift as good as if you're feeling good. And if you're depressed, you're not going to lift as heavy as if you're super excited about something. So motion, factors, life, work, all these things play a big factor in actually the type of results you get, because it's about finding what works for you to push yourself to the limit. With that being said, 60 pounds. With this, I don't have to necessarily hold on here because it's not full stack, it's 60 pounds. I weigh more than 60 pounds. So the weight doesn't lift me up as the other one would. You get 12 on this and 15 on this. You know why? Because I was thinking in my head of other stuff. So stay focused, because if not, odd number of reps means you're going to be lopsided. So if I did 12, that means I got to do 3 more. See, 3. See, now I'm going to be even. I feel better about myself. So, my last workout, I'm going to work on my inner hammies, or quadsies, I should say. So, doing this, you never look anybody in the eyes. And all gyms, for some reason, they always have the machine facing this way for the world. Would it make sense, you know, especially for women, like, because they all get gawked at? Why not, when you're spreading your legs like this on inner and outers, instead of facing the machine where it's faced this way to the open, why not face the machine this way? But nobody thinks about that, because they look at the machine like, that's how it's supposed to go, because that's the front of the machine, right? Well, I guess they do got this little cover, because that's going to really protect you a lot, huh? With that being said, this works the inside of the quads, and depending on if you angle in more, like with your quads, you can squeeze with your hammies, with your hamstrings. This is an adductor. This is the adductor inside portion of your quads. So how you think, if you want to be technical, adductors are adding your legs together. Abductors is when you spread your legs apart. So that's the technical version. We're just squeezing. I got 75 pounds on here. My inner quads are not super strong, but this machine, it just depends. I'm gonna rep it out. And again, it's the same concept. You don't wanna let the weight touch. Two more. But when you're doing this kind of stuff, you gotta really understand the concept, what you're trying to achieve. But anyway, this machine, there's no right or wrong to do with it. And it's really just, especially for women, a little tip, just kind of get on there, stay in the zone, and just try not to look at anybody, because the guys will be peeking. They'll find ways to do a peekaboo, trust me. You can't hide for the gym guys that want to look. Me, I don't care. I'm here to train and stuff like that. But there's a lot of guys that they're creepy, and I've seen them with my own eyes. And some of you women, you guys are creepy too. You should be looking at me with that eye. I see it. That's the eye of the tiger, because you're ready to pounce on the prey. Like in the wildebeest of the jungle, just crouching down, stalking your prey, barely moving, and you go for the kill. Okay, one more set. This is my 4th set of my inner, and it's winter time, so I have an extremely hard time breaking a sweat. That's just how I am. Some of you people can sweat like there's no tomorrow, but this has just never been me, even when I got ready to contest prep. And I pushed myself to a certain limit. Anyway, this is 105 pounds. I'm really focusing on the squeezing. This is actually pretty difficult. If I get stuck, I'll just help give myself extra support pushing it, but I try to put as much emphasis in the muscle itself. With that being said, I don't know how many reps I'm gonna do. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Step 9. Come on. 10. 12. 13. Woo! The burns, baby. I don't think I'm gonna be able to walk. Wheelchair funny. Oh man. Alright, right now it's 1:05 in the morning, and I finished my leg workout to a certain extent. Throughout the week, I'm gonna also break it up. But this gives you an in-depth, kind of like behind the scenes look of how I do my leg workout, aka Rehabzilla for my Quadzilla. Anyway, but feel free to comment, like, subscribe, give me feedback what you guys want to know, or criticize my form, criticize my shirt that I'm wearing Jesus, because some people's like, oh, why are you doing that? Or what about the holes in my pants? Because these are my favorite pair of pants. What about my shoes? There's always stuff that people complain about, give your props for. So let me have it. Let me hear from you guys, because I'll respond. If I'm not busy, I'll say, hey, what's up? I'll give my feedback. Anyway, keep watching. I'm going to keep educating and take this thing to the next level and getting preps for my 2015 season to defend my title as the #1 IFBB Pro wheelchair bodybuilder in the world.
The Wheelchair Athletics Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit that provides and supports disabled athletes. Please support our cause. Volunteer, donate funds, mail items for the eBay store.